At the Arab League summit in the Jeddah in 2023, Vladimir Zelensky was one of the invited guests. The invitation of the president of Ukraine to the League of Arab States is unprecedented in the history of this organization. The Arab countries recognize the growth of Ukraine's agency in the world. Ukraine got the opportunity to address the leaders of the Arab world directly. They successfully took advantage of this opportunity. Kyiv intercepts Moscow's anti-colonial rhetoric when explaining, the essence of this war. It is precisely Russia that behaves as a colonial empire in Ukraine. Let's hear the president.
And I'm more than sure that none of you will agree to surrender a third of your country to the invaders. And I'm more than sure none of you would watch without a fight how foreigners steal the children of your people. Hundreds of thousands of our children are deported to Russia, separated from their relatives, and there in Russia they are trying to teach our children to hate their natives. And I'm more than sure that none of you would admit the military occupation of a nuclear plant to use it to blackmail the world with nuke disaster. Look at how much suffering the long-term wars have brought to Libya, Syria, Yemen, how many lives have been wasted by years of fighting in Sudan and Somalia, in Iraq and Afghanistan. Everyone who adds to suffering by his new aggressions, everyone who sows enmity, everyone who wants to bring back the old days of invading empires that didn't count with the will of independent nations. Every aggressor goes against the world and will be cursed by the people. And I greet everyone who is ready to join us on the path of justice.
My main question from what we heard right now, did the Arab world really heard, not only listened to President Zelensky, but heard his words and the pain of Ukrainian people, Ukrainian nation? And if yes, from, let's say, the pragmatic point of view, did they find common interests and common issues and threats as well?
As always, it is complicated. So there are 22 Arab countries or 22 members of the Arab League. There are also observers, and there are many of the issues that the president mentioned that resonate quite well with the Arab world. But first, before that, I think the invitation is really a testament to the political achievements and the military achievements of Ukraine, whether on its political leadership or the military leadership, because otherwise I think there will be a tendency to go with the stronger side. There will be a tendency to go with, let's say, the authoritarian side, because the Middle East is plagued by authoritarianism. So on the stronger side, the authoritarian side, is basically is basically the Russian Federation in that case. So, but then Ukraine forced itself or placed itself on the map because of its achievements, both politically and militarily. So that's one. Some of what you mentioned will resonate well in the Arab world, because I think President Zelensky really hit the right points. One, the Arab world suffered from colonialism for a very long time. Not Russian colonialism. So it's usually the tendency is to relate the Soviet Union with anti-colonial struggle, with supporting anti-colonial struggle in the Arab world. The second point is the issue of and I'm glad he mentioned it, the issue of the children, because children is a very sensitive and revered issue in the Middle East, and things in the Middle East revolve around children. And taking someone else's children is and trying to brainwash them against their own parents, against their own ancestries, against their own country, is a very, very red line to do in the Arab world. It's looked at as a very, very Well, it's a red line everywhere, but it's even more hypersensitive in the Arab world. So I think he hit the right points in that direction. And response-wise, it will be. We need to have polls. Some of the polls that were conducted is there's on one end very high sympathy with Ukraine, but on the other end there is a very strong Russian propaganda effort in the Middle East that will influence many in that sense.